In this performance, we're going to start with an A minor blues lick. It's kind of a funky sounding lick there. And I'm starting on the fourth, the weak 4, but I'm bending a half step up to that flat 5 blue note. And I come back and I do a pull off, and then B string, and back up. At that point, I go to the B string and do a pull off from there, and ending the lick on the G string. And then I go down here and play, which is a cool little idea. It's sort of using the Dorian, but I'm adding in the flat 5, so you can call it as part of the hybrid scale. So you can slide in that note. That's usually how I do it. And then I'm hammering on here. But you can pick it if you like. And then back. And then play. Sometimes I do hammer on there. So I'm ending with the A minor triad, with that note added in. That's a Dorian note, that major 6. This one. But the whole idea is based around that A minor sound, with this note making it, giving it that Dorian flavor. And then I go back up here again and play a fast little thing. And this is a cool little idea that I picked up from guys like Robin Ford, Matt Schofield, and those kind of players that do these fast little runs. They're not that hard, actually. This sounds harder than it is. But I pick the first note, and then I do a fast pull off from the B string down to the G string. So that's just the A minor triad. But then I move it down to the flat 5 here, this one, and then I go to the 4, and then I do a hammer on back up and pull off. The last notes are just the minor 3rd and the root note on the D string. And at that point, I continue with, just to sort of extend the lick a bit. And I'm using the 6 here again, now on the A string. And then finish off with. And then that idea is done. And next I'm moving into a cool diminished lick that resolves back to the A minor sound. I think that's a cool approach. I often use the dim scale that way. Just gonna create some hip lines with it, and then come back in on some strong chord tones. So that's what's happening here. So coming back on an A minor triad. So I'm starting with the G string. The interval is the 2nd here. And then I go to the minor 7, the major 7th, and slide up the root note. And then back up to the 2nd and hammer on to the 3rd. After that, then we get that outside sounding stuff, which is I'm playing the major 6, the minor 6, and the flat 5. But now I'm only a half step away from a chord tone. So I just slide up to that one. It's a little sort of I think of it as a, pass. It's not a chromatic move, but it's a it's a half step away from a chord tone, so it's a cool way to approach the chord tone. And then just back on the minor third and the root note, which is part of the A minor triad. So it sounds like this. Now you can pick each note if you like. I do often the slides between them, just for my, my preference for my technique is doing that, because it's a little tricky for me to pick every note if it's a fast tempo. Or you can do a hammer on. And at the end I just play to add on a little bit. So that's just a pull off from the root note on the D string and down to the A string here, which is the 5. And next, I'm going to use some triads in a cool way. I think that's a cool approach to using triads. What I'm doing is it sounds like a longer lick, but it's based around a C major triad and a D major triad. Because those two triads fit into that A minor sound. But I'm not playing the triad like, one note per string. I'm doing let's look at it. I'm doing a hammer on from the root note up to the minor third. That's where the triad of C starts. Right there. And when I'm on this note, which should be the minor 7th for A, I'm only a half step away from a chord tone for D. So that's where the D major triad comes in. Now I'm playing 3, 5, 1 here. So I hope you can hear that sound in there. It's a cool approach to sort of rearrange the order of the notes in the triad there. And you see I'm using hammer-ons in the beginning. I'll do some slides here too. Slide down, hammer on here, and pick the last note. Then I go back here, and back up to the E strings after that. And then I finish off the liquid. So that's the B string, pull off, and then I do it's like a longer slide with my ring finger. And that's important to use the ring finger so I can do a pull off from here. Because I'm doing a pull off down to the minor third here. And the whole lick ends on the note D here. At that point, I'm going up to the 14th fret there on the G string actually, I'm going to be playing just a triplet. I'm just playing the blues scale. So the root note is on G string, and then I'll play the triplet on the B string. It's a very simple lick, but it's an idea of using a triplet to sort of break out of the da 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 sound. It gives the listener a bit of a break in the style of notes that I played before. After that, I'm using one of these patterns that I talked about. And if you hear the lick like that, isolated, you can hear the pattern in there. But if you, as I said before, if you use the patterns wisely and not overdo them, they can sound cool. And in this case, it's the 4-note pattern. So I'm playing 4 notes, then going up on the second last one I played and do another 4 from there. And I'm following the Dorian mode as I do that. Just the scale, the Dorian mode. And ending on the root note again here. Now you can pick every note if you like. I tend to do these pull-offs again. There's pull-offs all over that place when I play. But it really doesn't matter. It's just a preference. And after that, I'm throwing in a really repetitive lick. It's, you know, sort of illustrates my talk about the rhythmic phrasing concept, where you have a simple idea, a simple rhythm, da 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 da. But the second time, I'm changing it a little bit. The notes are the same, da 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 da. So those 2 rhythms together creates sort of a lick in itself. And then I repeat that a few times to sort of just get the listener's attention to, I really want to focus on this idea. And you can repeat that as long as you like, or as short as you like. It's just an example of how you can sort of milk an idea a little bit. And the notes are just root note for A, up to the 4, back to the root note, and the minor third. So we're only working with 3 notes. At some point you might get bored of the same thing, but you know, you can choose to play it how long or short as you like. But I like doing those types of ideas in my solos, repeat ideas to gives you a break sometimes in your lead playing, but it also gets the listener's attention. So that's the solo.